Hello, this is Ferrante Frazier with another episode of Natural as F. We're glad that you're tuning in today to learn about a great topic that we have with emotional balance. A lot of times when we look at health, we tend to think health is just what we eat or what we exercise. You know, the average person you go to and say, hey, what can I do to be healthy? The first thing they tell you, you need to change your food. Or they need to tell you, you need to go to the gym and work out. You got some people that believe that the gym is the only thing that's going to create health. You got some people who believe that eating food is going to produce health. But we even read in the Bible said that man can't live by bread alone, but you have to endorse all the natural things of life. And that's what we are, natural as F. So we want you to become natural as F, where you can endorse all the things of life that's going to create health in your body, mind, and spirit. Now, we are holistic practitioners. We don't just teach fragmented health. We teach holistic health, whole body, whole mind, body, and soul. Man can't have a good body, but dumb as I don't know what in his mentality or empty in his spirit. So we teach you to be whole mind, body, and soul. That's what creates a whole man, a healthy man. Healthy in his mind, body, and soul. We want to thank the ATR Media for allowing us to be on this platform. Make sure you go to the website on Facebook and also visit us on YouTube. It's ATR Media, all things relevant. Like, follow, and share, where you can get all of the updated information about what's relevant in the community and all things that are relevant to our elevation, our ascension in this thing together. We're not keeping this good information for ourselves. We're spreading it out. We all have the ability to become aware of what's going on and how to promote health and longevity and harmony and peace into the world. So become a part of it. You even have links where you can help. If you don't want to be an active member, you can donate to help out. Keep all this good information for yourself and to spread out to others. So we want to thank everyone who has listened and participated so far, and we're glad that you reach out to our show and learn and apply the information that we're giving you. Make sure that you don't just be a hearer, but also be a doer, where you can see that our concepts are very informative to help you produce health in you. I know some people say, hey, it sounds good, and almost like a song. You know, we tend to lose concentration real quick in this day and age, because our mind, switch from one thought to another so rapidly these days because of the technology boom that we have going on. And but we want you to get back focused and be able to zone in. So we want to thank you. We got this great topic that's coming up, that's burnout, which is going to help with you learning about emotional in your life, helping you look at some of the burnout areas in your life, show you about the disservice that you're doing with yourself, show you how to cut off some of those things, and get back energy. You know, energy is the thing that keeps us all active. Nothing in your life can run without this energy. And this energy we call vital force. We call it nerve energy. Some call it functioning power. You know, whatever name you wish to call this power that invigorates the cells and make you move this arm and make you see and make you hear and make you smell, we're giving it the term nerve power or nerve energy. All right, so we're going to interconnect those words in different ways, but at the end of the day, it's just functioning powers. It's the energy that drives every area in your life. All right, so this energy need to be always at a high level. That's what you call high vitality. All right, so the more vitality that you have in your life, in your body, in your mind and spirit, you're going to operate at high levels, at optimum, have, greater endurance. But when that vitality is suppressed, or that vitality has been squandered away, then you suffer in your body, mind, and spirit. So the suffering becomes something that we call dis-ease. This dis-ease is when your body is not at ease, all right? So you have discomforts when your body is not what? Comfortable. So we want you to become comfortable and at ease in your body, mind, and spirit. Let your bodies, your physical body, your mental body, and your spiritual body be at ease. My name is Ferrante Frazier. I'm a hygio physician out of Savannah, Georgia. We teach natural hygiene. We show people how to correct health issues without the use of medicine, without the use of herbs, without the use of supplements. Our way is a natural approach towards creating health within the human body, within the human psyche, the mental, and the spiritual nature of man. Bringing his awareness to his God-given self, his God reality, where he can realize the power within him to be great and do it with ease and have worthy goals and stuff going on in the life. So let's start off with this burnout. Like I said, this burnout, when you're running out of energy, you just don't have the energy to do anything no more. We used to have this joke that we said, fuel level low. When the fuel level low, it's time to go and get some more gas, or the battery is just burnt out. So we have to recharge, or we have to go and get some more fuel before we can go the distance. It's all about going the distance, not always running at optimum speed unless you have that vitality. And the only way to get that vitality is if you be obedient to the natural principles and concepts of life, getting fresh air, drinking only water. Seldom do you see people only drink water, and make sure that they are always connected to fresh air, and even in their homes and stuff like that, in their work, in their play. Average people are scared of the outside air. They're not drinking water. They got to have all the sugary drinks and other type of, drinks that's out here on the market. Even those who become natural in their way, we tend to go into drinking a bunch of unnatural things as well, all because they got the term natural or health, some type of remedy or something. We go into drinking a bunch of almond milk. We go into drinking a bunch of processed coconut water and different things of that nature, and not drinking it out of the coconut. We tend to drink all these herbal teas and different things just by the term it being natural. And those things are not ideal for our body. We drink these things to get stimulation, the reason why we're looking for the stimulation is because we're burnt out. We don't have the natural get up and go like we used to when we were a child. And let's look at that. Let's look at babies. We can see real vitality and energy when we look at little kids. If you look at a little child, they can't sit still for nothing. They got so much energy. Like this child is like, he just got so much power. I don't even care if they look diseased. They still have a lot of energy. You got fat babies, you got skinny babies, all of them running around with uninterrupted energy. Like, where does this energy come from? That's what you call high vitality. And their vitality is not squandered away overdoing things such as oversexing because they're not even having sex yet, overworking because they don't have a job. Some of them may overeat. That's why they might suffer slight diseases and stuff like that. But they're not worrying about paying bills. They're not worrying about, relationships. My wife cheating on me. They're not worrying about kids because they haven't had kids yet. So that energy from the mental, from the physical, all these things squander away your energy. And you start to burn out. When you start burning out, then your body starts not the ability to function. Like with your cell phone. Let's look at your cell phone, for example. Your cell phone, it has a battery. And when that battery starts getting low and start getting into the red, you notice that certain functions of your phone does not function. The Bluetooth cuts off. Your internet service shuts down. You're able to video anymore. Only you're able to make a phone call. That's the last thing you can do until your phone shut off. So this is the same thing with the human body. Certain functions in the body, when the energy level of the body become really low, certain functions start shutting off. And we see this in the elderly. The elderly don't look as vital as the youth. They're not running and jumping and can't sit down. Matter of fact, they can't get up. Most of them is always sitting down because they don't have the vitality or the power to run around and play and do all type of stuff. Why? Because they have squandered away all of their vitality. They're burned out. They're burnt out because life has drained them of their energy because they had so many, you'll say, on them. They had so much energy robbers robbing them of their energy. The Coca-Cola Foundation has robbed a lot of people of their energy. McDonald's say they serve billions. So McDonald's have robbed many people out of a long longevity of life and health. A lot of these restaurants with all these chemical concoctions and poisons that they are putting out into the world, talking about as food for mankind and drinks for mankind, and this is healthy, all just to market and rob us of our pocketbooks. But not only are they robbing us of our pocketbooks and wallets, they're also robbing us of our health, our longevity, our ease of mind, and our spirit. Because most times when we're not in good health, we don't have a good spirit. You don't see somebody, you rarely see individuals who have suffering in their body, have the spirit of God in them, want to do good stuff. They're worrying about their health. They're worrying about dying. They're worrying about what is going on with them. They're trying to figure out how to repair their body. So it's ideal for us to, if we want to have good spirits and have a good mind, because if you the doctor telling you got 60 days to live because you got some type of heart problem that's restricting your blood flow and circulation. How can you think about positive things when you're sitting there thinking about death? When you're sitting there having to worry about taking medicine every day, worrying about having to take surgery, go to these surgeries, and always worrying about your doctor visits and stuff. How can you be in the game of life? So to get back in life, you have to be whole. For you to have good thoughts and good, you'll say, purpose in life, you got to get away from these things that's taking life away from you. And that's when you're getting back to nature. Natural is F. When you started noticing that natural processes in your life, they give you energy. They don't rob you of energy. When you drink water don't poison your energy. Breathing fresh air doesn't rob you of energy, it vitalizes your body. But when you breathe chemical concoction, hallucinogens, and all these different toxic air pollutants that we put into our body or have in our environment, it drains us of our energy. So those things are energy robbers. They rob you of your energy. They're not energy enhancers. They don't come here bearing gifts for you. Fruits bear gifts for you. They bring with them vitamins, minerals, water, oxygen, all these different things that they bring to your body to give your body vitality and energy. Those fried bacon sandwiches, those, all these soul foods that they got out here, that we eat on Sunday meals and all these other different things, those things come to rob us of our soul. They're not soul enhancers. I don't know why we call it soul food. But it's one of the most destructive foods in our community. And especially the Black community, if we really want to get rid of the issues that's suffering us, we have to get rid of that idea that we are supposed to eat this soul food. The soul food was this food that was scrapped over, left from, what the masters didn't want to eat. And here it is, we taking it and made it as a staple in our community. And we're consuming those foods every Sunday. And that's the thing, those foods we wouldn't eat in a wholesome state, a wholesome taste with the test that type of food that we have and that we've made for ourselves. But over a period of time, it tastes good to us. We share it with our kids at an early age and get them on it. It's like just getting them on a drug, poison. You start them off at an early age and they'll dibble and dabble with that poison for a lifetime. The Bible says, train up a child in the way that they shall go, and when they get older, they will not depart. So it's not only will they not depart from good, wholesome teaching, neither will they depart from destructive habits as well. So the way you train in them, that's exposure. Any type of exposure is training. So we want you to look at training them in a more proper way. Do you own your service or do your service own you? Whatever service it is, a lot of times we tend to overindulge in certain things. This is a way that we burn ourselves out. Notice like we said, the kids, they don't overdo it. And I don't care what the service is. We have some hygienic practitioners who work themselves to death, that suffer diseases because they were overzealous about putting out this hygienic information. They stayed in their offices healing people all day long. If you notice, Jesus in the Bible had to take breaks himself. People were always leaning on him to come and heal them. They were seeking him out all day and night. He had to hide and sneak off and get in a boat to get some rest. Go hide in somebody's house and get rest. He had to take time out for himself before he burned himself out. But we say we will rest when we die, and that'd be real quick. A lot of people say, I'll sleep when I die. That's going to come real quick. And you're going to be suffering with a lot of issues close up to it because you don't have the energy to resist much. when you're burnt out. So do not let your service disserve you. This is where we go into talking about your zeal has eating me up, My zeal is eating me up. I have a zeal for something that I just keep running and running and running, and I don't take time out for rest. If you notice, and I know a lot of people say, why do I talk about just the Bible, a lot? But, I teach a lot of it from the Bible because most people are Christians in our communities and stuff, so they will relate to the Bible. If I start talking some other manuscripts, they're going to say, what is this guy talking about? But let's talk about something that is common to the people. The Bible said that he made the world in 6 days and rested on the seventh and made that as a day of rest for us. That day wasn't something that is, we weren't made for that day. That day was given to us to allow rest in us. So what are you doing with your rest day? Pick one day out of the week and rest. That's your Sabbath. All right. So that means that rest is very important. If it's even in the scripture, and I'm pretty sure it's in many other scriptures as well, where we have to have downtime or repose, where we allow our body to charge up. Your phone have to have downtime. It's not unlimited energy in your phone, your laptop, your computer. Those things have to constantly be charged if you want to get use out of it. Mother Nature made it where she cut the light on when it was time for us to do work. That's called day. And then she cuts the light out for us. It's called night. She put a little night light up there called the moon. So she's letting us know when the ideal time for us to rest. Usually no man can work when it's night. But with us, we've come up with these, the invention of the bright light. And we can light up a whole city and make it look like day in the middle of the night. And so doing so, we went back to work. So we're burning ourselves out with our service. We're not getting any rest. We see a lot of individuals who be on night work a lot. They suffer more diseases than the people who work during the day. Because when you're working at night, you're not getting sunlight during the day. And you're not sleeping in the correct, you'll say, rhythm of how with the universe. So you create disease in yourself. So we have to get back in alignment, get back in balance, emotional balance here, mental balance, spiritual balance, all right? Universal balance, any balance you want to think about. We have to be in that if we don't want to skip have the scales tipped over in any one way direction. We suffer. If you only receive money from your work, you are missing out on a lot of stuff. A lot of us, we're running behind the money. That's why we only go to work at night, because they pay more money at night. So we're selling ourselves. We're selling our energy, just for extra money. So we there only for the money, and not in those jobs only. Let's imagine those people who are in these help jobs. They're in it just for the money. And, the people can see through that. They see that you're not real when you're only there for the money. You look at the ATR platform. They're here giving out information and haven't charged any of their viewers yet. Hey, we accept donations, true. But there is no price to get valuable information that you can't get nowhere else. You can fragmented information other places. But here it is, you getting sound truth, bare block with unadulterated information, with no skirt on, get the naked truth, with no charge. All you have to do is tune in and listen. That's doing it for the love, to bring up the awareness of the people in the community, to create love, harmony, and peace amongst us all, because we see us as one. We don't see each other as separate individuals. We see each other as one energy operating in different bodies. So if we see one energy suffering, bring it up. You know, be like the Samaritan. You see a person in a ditch, help that brother up. So we want to also go into looking at these different passions that we have. A lot of times we have passions that rob us of our energy. We talked about that. Those things that the kids don't have. Notice that the difference there. The children don't have some of the same passions that we have because they're just starting off in life. The Bible says, unless you become a child again, you should not inherit the kingdom. Because those kids are full of energy. They're full of life. They haven't been taught a bunch of foolishness and living on a bunch of negative thoughts and mental states because they haven't gone through anything yet. Life is beautiful to them. They see the world as an opportunity to expand. Some of us, we done, dealt with a relationship that just caused us a bunch of torture. And so every man in the world is just toxic. Every woman in the world is going to cheat in just some scallywag. That's all because we've only dealt with one or two scallywags. Or we only dealt with two, scum buckets. So we overgeneralize and we put everybody in this bucket. That's our mental on thing. Every boss is going to be, disruptive. Most people are not going to hear what I'm trying to teach. So you come up with thought patterns that drain you of your energy because you get sad. You live in grief. When you start feeling like no one ever is going to love me, no one ever is going to hire me. Those things drain your body of energy because it have you in low states. It brings your awareness down, your state of consciousness. It have you in lower levels of consciousness. That's a spirit downer. You want to have high spirit. Now think about if you went to a beach in Savannah High game. Now, I tell you all the time, I'm a Bulldog. And I know it's a lot of, Savannah High fans out there. We always had this little rival. For those who are in our community, y'all know what I'm talking about. But every place you go to, there's going to be some rival between high schools. Those two high schools are going to be the dominant ones in that community. Now, for those who are in the Savannah area, we know about the Bulldog and Savannah High games. Now, imagine going to a game and you couldn't see the scoreboard, but all you heard people saying Bulldog, Bulldog, Bulldog. I mean, jamming Bulldogs, and you didn't hear nothing from Savannah High. Now, what would you think when if you wanted to know who was winning? You would say that it got to be the Bulldogs. They tearing up the bleachers over there. They making so much noise you can't hear nothing. So they are in the spirit. They got to be winning. And you look over there at Savannah High, they just sitting there, people, walking around, going to get food, not in the game because they're losing. This is what we see in the world right now today. We see people who are full of the spirit and they're winning. And you see some people who are just there in life. They're just here, taking up space in the world because they have no spirit to do anything because they're losing. And that's only because their awareness, their attitude is just not there. And this is what we bring information to help raise the awareness of individuals where they can come back and start winning. But you got pastors out there, preachers and ministers out there trying to bring up the awareness, the spirituality of individuals, give them something to live for, give them meaningful goals, give them laudable purposes in life. Do something, and where you can have goodness in yourself when you complete something. You put something together. My daughter at the house drew something, and the girl, I didn't know she could draw so good. And she felt so good from completing a beautiful piece of art. Imagine when you do something and it comes out great. You're happy. Just when you just do something on your own and you complete it. Those who go to school, go to college and complete a course and get their bachelor's degree, their master's degree, their doctorate degree, they feel great. They completed something. That's a purpose. So imagine when you start creating a purpose, not just standing on the corner, not just sitting waiting on a welfare check, not just going to the doctor every day just to get on Medicaid and Medicare and different things of that nature. Get back into life. Heal thyself, and allow yourself to come back into the world and start winning. Get on the winning team. That's my plea. I imagine you doing so. Everyone have to raise their awareness. So we're asking you to get back into control your passion. Stop overworking. Those who are overworking. Stop overplaying like in sports and going, dealing with these game systems. And a lot of us, we spend so much time on these game systems that keep us distracted. Some of us spend so much time in sports that it keeps us distracted. Sports have become our religion. The game console have become our religion. Let's get away from over-exercising. Exercising is a great thing. Hey, believe me, it's a great thing. But overdoing it can cause issues. These are some wholesome things that we're talking about right here. Now, it's certain things that you need to just stay away from altogether. You know how that adage says, be moderate in all things. That's the old adage. But we don't agree with that old adage. It's not moderate in all things, moderate in wholesome things. Certain things don't need to be, there should be no moderation, like killing. Can you be moderate in all things? Like, can you be moderate? How many people can I kill to be in the bounds of moderation? How many people can we rape to be in bounds of moderation and rape? How many houses can I set afire to be in moderation of arson? How much this moderation points to wholesome things? That's it. But unwholesome things, there shouldn't be no moderation. There should be abstinence. Abstain from those type of practices that are unhealthy, that are not suitable for high levels of awareness, your resurrection from your dead state. You have to resurrect your mind, resurrect your body, resurrect your spirit from a dead state. Now, sometimes it's hard for us to resurrect ourselves. We don't realize we're in a dead state. We don't realize that we're in our spirit is dead because we don't know what life is. Some of us don't know that our mental thoughts are toxic and dead because that's all we're thinking. Some of us are not aware that our body is dying and suffering because the medical mentality tells us that's how it's supposed to be. We'll take care of that. We're in charge of your health. But when you ascend from that lower state and resurrect your body, man, it's a blessing. And you'll see what life really is when you resurrect yourself. So I'm asking you to stay around some higher people. Find you somebody who has resurrected and follow their way. Jesus spoke about it, follow me. That's all he ever told people. He didn't tell people to worship him or anything like that. He said, hey, you want to get higher? Follow me. Do what I do. If you want to get healthier, follow what we say. If you want a better community, follow ATR Media. They got a bunch of shows up here that's creating community awareness, helping economic growth across the board. Not just one person. We see people as a whole. But let's bring up the bottom. The physician don't need no help. Let's help the people who are suffering. So why should we help people who are already at the top? They don't need help. We help the people who's at the bottom. No one need a hand out of the ditch, out of the muddy mire. You know? So let's look at it like that. Let's get over sexing. You know, it's like we talked about kids are not having sex yet. So if you notice, a lot of times after having sex, you want to go to sleep because it drains the body of energy. You know, it can also destroy the mental. A lot of people don't even realize that. You have miniature seizures every time you have an orgasm. Every time you have an orgasm, you have a seizure in the deep limbic system of the brain. That area deals with appetite, that area deals with depression, it deals with dopamine release. It deals with a lot of things that helps us in our day-to-day function, the deep limbic system. So we tend to have, you'll say, issues that develop in our life when we keep having these miniature seizures back to back. Imagine if you was just having regular seizures and you were having them back to back. It would make the life not all that great. So when we're constantly having these miniature seizures and not having them every so often and allowing the body to repair from that sexual act, then we create issues in our brain. And you remember, the brain is where a lot of the mental is projected from. So if you want to have a better mind, you have to protect that mind. You have to protect the brain because the brain is the seat of all mental activities. So it's the hardware, it's the computer. Now you got software, yeah, you got all these thoughts, and you have all this, you know, ideology and all these different things. But what process that? That's the hardware, the brain. So the brain must be in good functioning power. You got to have good physical health there. That's why we say is you can't separate physical from mental or from the spiritual. They all have to be connected if you want to be a whole person. Religious zealously is an issue as well. Sometimes we get a little overzealous in our religion, that we create issues in our world. We create issues in ourselves when we allow too many, you know, too much stuff. We end up going to church 7 days a week. We there at church from sun up to sundown. We're in there dealing with everybody issues. We got ministers who don't get rest because they answering the phone for everybody instead of hiring other ministers. If you notice, Jesus even had to go and get 77 people to help go out and do some of the work for him, where he didn't have to do everything himself. He got disciples to work with him. Even in the Acts, when after Jesus had done died, they had the apostles had to go and find elders and deacons to work, take some of the load off them. So we can't put all this load on us or we'll burn ourselves out. The whole objective is not to burn out here. Now I'm interpreting certain things to help allow you to see it from a different aspect, not just from a scientific book all the time. Let's look at it into our world. You know, the world is where we learn everything from. We can look at the trees and learn how we should live. We can look at the flowers. We can look at the birds. We can look at the animals and see how man should live if you want to live with uninterrupted health. We don't have to always go to a book. You know, who to say the book is right, but we know nature is always right because she's the one who created everything. So let's get natural as self. Let's look at emotional poise and these laudable goals that we should have in our life, right? Those that are living with passion and purpose rarely engage in toxic behavior. Notice that we just said that if you can get some kids, if you see these kids are just on the corner, they are idle. They have nothing to do. Like with this pandemic going on, you know, the kids just laying up in the bed, just playing on their phone, TikToking and all type of other ocking. But they're not going out having a purpose in life. They have no purpose anymore. Not even to go to class, go to a school and hang out with their friends and stuff. And battle with these teachers. Y'all know some of us used to battle with these teachers a lot and be in the principal office. But they're not even learning that anymore. They're just cooped up in the house. Just on a computer, on another screen that's going to just destroy their eyesight and take away their social ability. So here it is. They have no reason in life, no purpose. So it creates discord in their life. They want to reach for the bad things. But if you go and get these people and give them something to do, put some tools in their hand, put something in their hand and allow them to be creative. They rarely go after bad things because they're too occupied in a purpose. Some church people would do that quick. I noticed that in a lot of these churches. When a young man comes to church, they give him purpose. They don't just let him sit on the bench. They give him some purpose. Give him something to do around there where he can become a part of a whole. My son, he used to do the same thing. If I didn't give him nothing to do, he'd become mischief and do other things. But when I kept giving him purpose and commended him on the stuff that he was doing, he turned out to be a great, fine young man. So we got to give these kids purpose and meaning in life and not just letting them just tumble along their own path. A lot of times we're planning for tomorrow and we miss today. A lot of times our thoughts are always in the future. Our mind is always in, and it creates disease in us and drains us of our energy. We're never living for this moment. We don't even know what's going on at this moment because we're too much in our head in the future. We're also living in the past, and that's what keeps us depressed because we're living over regrets. We're living off of regrets, and that's what we tend to focus on. Even if we was in a marriage for 30 years, we only remember the 2 years. If somebody be like, well, how is old Betty? Man, Betty ain't nothing but a mean old lady. Well, what about those 28 years that she was great to you? She suffered and rolled with you and dealt with you, So I even talk about sometimes when I used to do lectures in some of these colleges, and we have this survey at the end of each session, and it might have 100 people there, and 98 will be able to like, man, that was some great information that you put. We never heard it put that way. You're talking about this natural, holistic health stuff. I didn't know that eating meat and bread was a toxic combination. I didn't realize that I should eat fruit on an empty stomach and that fruit should be the first meal of the day. I didn't realize that I should be drinking water and not drinking water with my food. So it's like we didn't know these things. So we're glad that you showed up and gave this information. And then that's 98 out of the 100. Then I have 2 that be out there like, man, we didn't understand nothing you said. That information you said is not lining up with the medical doctor. My doctor said something totally different. I spend all day trying to figure out what I could have said or done to help them correct some issues, help them understand this better and receive the information better. Now, that time could have been spent preparing for a different show, but I use a bunch of mental power on those 2. So we have to get away from, being caught up in our past and trying to overcome things. All we have to do is analyze it. That's what we need to do. We need to learn how to analyze it, and we should appreciate and learn from our past. Don't get caught up on it. Just analyze it appreciate that you went through it and learn from it. Our mental poise is very important. Living in our head. Get out of the head and live here. You know, it's, say prayer and meditation helps you quiet that internal chatter. You got a lot of chatter going on in the head. Call it internal dialogue, or that self-talk. We have a whole conversation going on in our head that other individuals can't hear. That self-talk is, if it's toxic, it's going to create toxic behavior. If it's healthy, it's going to create healthy behavior and create healthy body. You can believe that you're sick and create sickness in your body, all by you just thinking about being sick. If you sit there and lay in bed all day and think of your body suffering with a disease, you're going to start suffering. Why do you think the medical mentality are good at marketing their so-called issues? Notice that when they start marketing, have you been sleeping a lot lately? Oh, yeah, I'm sleeping a lot lately. Have you been noticing it's looking cloudy outside? Oh, yeah, I have noticed that, even though it's been raining. But they bring on their commercials and tell you, you might suffer from depression. How you know I ain't just tired? And that it's been raining a lot outside, But we tend to, don't see it like that. They're just putting out some information about a so-called disease, but we take on to that from our experiences. And we start suffering. And then they're telling you, hey, we got a sure enough cure for that if you come and see us. Well, no cure. The medical people never preach cures. They only preach suppression and palliation. Like, they have no cure for anything, not even for the common cold. There's no cure for the common cold. That's the simplest thing that individuals can get, and they have no cure for that. So obviously, they ain't got no cure for nothing else. Now, they do have a cure for, like, for example, well, it's not a cure, but they have cure for tonsils, swollen tonsil. Their cure is to take it out. You'll never have swollen tonsils again. Why? Because you ain't got them no more. If one of your kidneys failing, they got a cure for that. Take one of them out. All you need is one, they say. I don't know why they're telling you this stuff. Sound like shade tree mechanics. You don't need this thermostat. I don't know why they put it in cars. You don't need this Cadillac converter. You can just punch it out. You don't need this hot water heater. Take this stuff out, man. You just ain't gonna be able to get no run your AC or anything like that. So you get a fragmented health when you follow the medical mentality. So we want you to keep a more natural health mentality. Let's keep it natural. The ability to play without having to win all the time. Just keep a great mental poise in your life. When you operate from a standpoint where you're going to play the game for the sheer fun of it. Let's get into life for the sheer fun of it. You don't have to become the guru of the world. You don't have to be, the head honcho, the Martin Luther King of the world. Just be in the world and be a force to reckon with. Do the gift and provide the gift that God has provided you with. Be in that present and act in it now. And you'll see power evolve in this world at a phenomenal rate. Imagine if everyone operated from their higher self. Everyone was their higher self. Higher self is all things that are present, everything that is joy, everything that is love. You'll be operating out of bliss. You'll be operating out of, you'll be enlightened. Everything will be so clear to you. Now imagine every individual on earth operating from that state of consciousness. At the top of the ladder being enlightenment, The bottom of the ladder being apathy, where you just hear just a log on a, just a bump on the log. Worthless. That's the lower state. But imagine you being at the higher state of awareness. Now imagine the world like that. Now I want you to imagine that. Imagine yourself being at a high state. If you can imagine it, it's possible. If you can see it, it's possible. And I want you to hold that state, that view of yourself. View yourself as being a great, wonderful person, creating high levels of awareness. And I want you to hold that state in your mind. Just keep looking at you doing something perfect every day. Just hold it in your mind and keep playing it over. And then project it into the world. Start acting as you believe. You know, if you can hold it, if you can see it, you can create it into this world. It all starts with imagination. Imagine yourself being at the highest state of awareness. And keep imagining. Hold that imagination in your head over and over. Don't let your possessions possess you. Those things that you accumulate in this world is not you. You are all things that are worthy. Love, your love, your peace, your harmony, your creativity. Those are who you truly are. All these other things don't define you. Your car don't define you. Your house don't define you. Even the friends you have don't define you. It's the individual inside, that spirit that dwells within you, that you manifest and project into the world. That's who we see. So make those things the beautiful things. Get the Lamborghini of spirit. Get the mansion of spirit. You know, live and know, let your spirit be of the costly thing. This physical stuff, that doesn't define you. That's not who you truly are. Don't let money run your life. Desire for means you lack. If you're desiring, that means that you're in want. You're in lack of something. To desire. But if you say, hey, I desire to be with you, young lady, that means you're not with her. I miss you. That means that you're not there. So what you want to do is operate from a I have. And what you have is love. Anyone can have love. Just start acting lovely. Anyone can have peace in their life. Promote peace, harmony, bliss. You know, all the high levels of awareness, that's already in you. That's your nature. That's the true nature of mankind. So we just need to operate from it. All right? Dying to live. A lot of us, we instead of us living to die, we're dying to live. We're doing all those things that is taking us quickly to the grave, the way that we're living. We're not trying to find, in the past. Because now, since you're listening to ATR Media, we're giving you a bunch of information that's going to help evolve mankind to higher levels of awareness, that we don't have to say that these are the things that's going on anymore. We want you to share with us and learn and ride with us. You know, become healthier by eating proper. Become mentally sound by prayer and meditation. Meditation, we got this form of meditation where you sit there and you just be silent and go into the no thought. A lot of people don't know what that no thought is. It's like just a blank void that you be in. Anytime you try to think of something, just throw it out. And just keep doing it until you get big gaps of thought, where your thoughts are coming not so often. Because like I said, some of us got a chatter going on in our head. I mean, you got one of them, those like them women who just can't stop talking going on in the head. Byron, got that going on in the head. You can't concentrate and enjoy life when you got that bang going on, right? So meditation is one of the things that will help quiet that mind. It'll calm that chatter down. And then what you have to do is be careful what you exposing yourself to. All these songs that's out here today, it's not ideal to be listening to. I don't care how good the beat is or who's singing it. You're downloading that information into your brain. These shows that you're watching, you're downloading that information into your brain. In certain communities and certain people, they don't even listen to this foolishness. And neither do they suffer with the issues because they're not supplanting it into their minds, into their kids, into their community. They only allow wholesome things to come into their, into their minds. They only allow wholesome things to come into their communities and their families. And that's why they have proper lives. Our community is suffering because we just letting them run amok. We got to teach them wholesome things and give them reason to live. Eustress and distress, eustress is positive energy. That's what we've been talking about that day. Positive stress, going to Carowinds, having a good time, going to Six Flags, Disney World. You get tired after you done went around riding the ride. Ooh, you enjoyed yourself, but what happened with the kids when they come in from Disneyland? I mean, they active as I don't know what while they running around, with Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and Goofy and all of them. But what's inevitable when they get to the car? While you driving off, they back there snoring. So even positive stress drains the body of energy. And we all know that distress drains the body of energy. So even if we're doing wholesome things in this world, we have to maintain balance if we wish to maintain high levels of energy and to keep sound health in our body. It drains energy. It slows down the metabolic process of our body. When we, most times we can't even eat when we're tired. The food don't digest properly. We have to sometimes get energy just to eat. So a lot of the processes shut down when we don't have energy. Why? Because there's no energy for those processes to function. The kidneys can't function without energy. The lungs barely function without energy. The stomach can't digest food if it has no power to digest food. So even though we eat the food just sits in our stomach and rots. It stops drainage. We don't have bowel movements when we're constipated because we don't have energy to move that waste out. You don't have energy to take out the trash. You don't have energy in the kitchen. You don't have energy to clean that bathroom. So it just go another day and another day and another day until the house becomes infested with waste or accumulated with waste, and then parasites are attracted. And then that's what creeps in. Toxemia is poison blood. So when we're burnt out, we're allowing our energy levels to go low. We don't have proper drainage. Our body accumulates waste. And that's the only disease there is, toxemia. That toxemia is manifested and spills out through different routes. That's your disease. I want to thank y'all for tuning into another segment of Natural as Health. We hope that we identified a lot of the burnout areas in your life. We want you to correct those things where you can have a newness of life and ascend yourself to higher states of awareness. We want you to tune in every Tuesday at 6 o'clock and share with all your friends and family about the hygienic way to health. Thank you. Best of health and happiness, and see you next week.